Some parts of the US are incredibly rich. In some areas in Connecticut, where all the bankers from New York live, you will find incredible mansions, a vast number of expensive cars, and public schools that regularly send several kids to Harvard and Yale. You won't believe how incredibly wealthy the richest US states are, so keep watching to find out. Good day, kings! Today we will present you with the 10 richest US states, including Washington DC. The metric used is the median household income. This is the most common metric to compare wealth in different states, since it eliminates the influence that very few billionaires have on the average income. At the end of the video, there will be a neat graph comparing all of the states, so make sure to stick with us until then. If you enjoy the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that you can see our next interesting videos about the world's richest people and their lives. Number 10. Washington State. At a yearly median household income of $70,100 Washington is a really nice place to live. The state is one of only 7 states that do not have state income taxes. Besides its breathtaking landscape, Washington is also known for the many programming jobs in its capital of Seattle. Amazon and Valve have their headquarters in or near Seattle, and Microsoft has a very big site there. Who wouldn't like to work at these companies? Number 9. Alaska. The largest US state that was bought from Russia for a mere $7.2 million in 1867 reached its median household income of $70,300 a year, mainly due to its vast natural gas and oil reserves. Even though Alaska is another state without any state income taxes, the state manages to spread its oil and gas wealth equally among its population, which leads to the number 2 spot in the Gini index for income equality. I don't know about you, but I'd still hesitate to move to such a frosty region. Number 8. New Hampshire. At its median household income of $75,000, this rather small state has the lowest poverty rate in the US at just 8% of its residents. As one of the industrial centers of the US during the Industrial Revolution, New Hampshire's biggest city, Manchester, previously had the biggest textile manufactory in the world. Today, New Hampshire is still an industrial state, with most of its population working in small manufacturing firms. Oh, and most people in this area are fans of the New England Patriots. New Hampshire is just one of the many small northeastern states on the list, but it's far from the richest. Keep watching to find out about the crazy wealth of the richest states in this area. Number 7. California. At its median household income of $75,300, California is a state of differences. While the heavily Democrat-leaning area around the Silicon Valley houses some of the richest companies on the planet and has incredible rents, the countryside is rather cheap, salaries are much lower, and most people lean Republican. This discrepancy in the huge state of California is the main reason why the state only makes the number 7 spot on the list, even though it houses some of the best paid people in the nation. Number 6. Connecticut, with its median household income of $76,000. This state's average income per capita is actually the second highest in the entire US, which means that Connecticut has a vast population of rich people. This state is wealthy for a reason. Since it is pretty close to New York City and is still rather rural at the same time, Connecticut has a huge population of rich bankers that work in New York. If you live in the right spot, it will be hard to find anyone who is not working for one of the biggest banks. Number 5. Massachusetts. At its median household income of $79,800. Massachusetts houses some of the best universities in the world, including Harvard and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in short MIT. Both are located in Cambridge. The state's capital, Boston, is also known to be an extremely wealthy city. Though Boston is not as famous as the likes of New York, San Francisco and others, the city is very wealthy and has high living standards, all thanks to the many scientists it draws due to the incredibly famous universities in its outskirts. Number 4. Hawaii. At its incredible median household income of $80,200, Hawaii is probably one of the nicest places on earth. Rich people agree with us. The state has the fourth largest number of millionaires per capita in the US, at a ratio of 7.2%. Unsurprisingly, 1/4 of the Hawaiian economy is made up by tourism, and that's even though the state has been trying to diversify its economy. Hawaii is also a huge base for the US military due to its location right between America and Asia. 75,000 US Department of Defense personnel live in Hawaii, and overall the military spends roughly $12.2 billion in Hawaii per year. Number 3. New Jersey. Even though you wouldn't have believed it, thanks to shows such as Jersey Shore, New Jersey is a very wealthy state at a median household income of $81,700. Overall, the state is home to the highest number of millionaires per capita out of all states in the US at 9%, and its public school system constantly ranks at or among the best as well. Where does all this wealth come from? New Jersey has a long industrial tradition, and it has not experienced an industrial drought such as Detroit or the Rust Belt states. Oil refineries in Linden, the Budweiser plant in Newark, the massive cargo ship ports in Port Elizabeth and Newark. New Jersey does a lot of the dirty work for the rest of the country. Even dirty work can be very profitable. Number 2. Maryland. Named after England's former Queen Mary, who was alive in the 17th century, Maryland currently has an incredible median household income of $83,200. Spoiler warning, if you only count actual states, Maryland would be on the number 1 spot. Maryland owes a large part of its wealth to the close proximity to Washington, D.C. Apart from this, the economy of Maryland is pretty similar to that of New Jersey. It still has a lot of industry and wasn't really affected by outsourcing. Popular sectors include the food production sector, as well as biotechnology and healthcare. However, with the huge port of Baltimore, you cannot forget about the shipping industry. And finally, number 1. Washington, D.C. Though not officially a state, we have chosen to include the District of Columbia, which tops the list at an impressive median household income of $85,200. The GDP per capita statistic is even more funny. Due to the huge amount of people that live in Maryland and Virginia but work in DC, its GDP per capita is almost 3 times as high as that of Massachusetts, which is ranked second in the US. The vast amount of wealth of Washington, D.C. stems from the federal government. 25% of all people working in the city are employed by a federal government agency. Of course, this draws a large number of law firms, defense contractors, non-profit organizations, lobbying firms and more to the district, which all add to its wealth. Funnily though, many of the largest companies prefer to have their headquarters just outside of DC. The reason for this is that DC has very strict building height restrictions. This is why the likes of Amazon, Mars, Bloomberg, Hilton, Lidl, Nestle US and others prefer Arlington and McLean in Virginia as their basis of operation. As promised in the beginning, here you can see a graph comparison of the richest states in the United States of America. It is really crazy how rich some of these smaller states are. I was especially impressed by Connecticut and Maryland. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that you can see future videos about interesting and educating business topics. Also, let us know about any interesting insights to your state. We would love to know more about it.